Thanks to a recent watch party for X-Men Dark Phoenix, we did learn a few details about the what could have happened with a second take on Dark Phoenix. Something that actually would have been a lot better had they made it, but no. Instead, we got a dumpster fire with Dark Phoenix. Yay. So I think some of you are familiar with the name Simon Kinberg. This is the man who co-wrote X-Men Days of Future Past and would go on to be given the reins on X-Men Dark Phoenix, that little art house film that went on to become something that people who hate the MCU absolutely love because whatever. Anyways, Kinberg was like, yes, let's talk about what could have been. Ultimately, he talks about what could have been a better movie. So I have a link down below and there's a few other things he talks about, but here's what he said about the original idea for Dark Phoenix, the superior version. So he says, and I quote, "It's possible that in an alternate universe, because it would have been about 10-15 years since The Last Stand, you could do Dark Phoenix with the original actress, and you could do it with the Hellfire Club, and you could do it, I think, with the screen time it necessitates because it's such a complex storyline. You would probably want a two-parter movie. You want to bring the Hellfire Club in. You want it to be truly intergalactic. You want to bring in Liandra. You really want to tell it that way. And I think you need at least one bridge movie, this, Days of Future Past, and the beginning of that, Dark Phoenix. But the maturity of those actors and the history that goes back would have been 25 years. At this point, 2014, when Days of Future Past was released, 20 years since X1, could have really been interesting. So what he says is, we should have done it the way they do it in the comics and, went intergalactic and brought back the actors that people cared about and not rushed through with this film because we just wanted to hang on to the license and shove it out for no reason. Yes, it sounds like they actually knew that they could have had a better film. So, it's one of those things, I hated Dark Phoenix with pretty much all my possible heart and soul. Not as much as Fantastic Four, but it's almost right there. And I, like Charles Xavier in that film, wanted to get up and walk away, where he actually does that. He tries to get up and then he realizes he's paraplegic. But ultimately, we'll probably someday, somehow, get the proper Dark Phoenix, a cosmic entity, like it should be, unlike what they've done 3 times. Yes, they did it 3 times. Last Stand, and then at the end of Apocalypse, and then at the beginning of Dark Phoenix, they retcon Apocalypse. They retcon their own goddamn